I would say the premium, like the Maserati of the virtual assistant world is MyOutDesk.
Hey everybody, Daniel Ramsey here with MyOutDesk. I'm super excited because I've got Kyle Shimoda. He is a wealth advisor at Impact and specializes in a lot of cool stuff. And he also uses a virtual assistant in his practice. So I'm excited to have you. Thanks for joining us, Kyle.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Let's give the audience a little idea. Where are you? How'd you get into this wealth advisory thing? And just let's make an intro so they know who you are.
So I'm out here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I got into the business about 16 years ago. And kind of my progression through the business was started off as an insurance agent, and then investment advisor, and now wealth manager, financial planner. So that's kind of been my progression through the years. And I love living in Hawaii. I got a little family here. Yet I work with clients all over the country, and so this virtual world has definitely changed some things. And I love being able to work from home and also travel and see clients all over the place. So that's a little bit about my background.
That's awesome. Okay, and what's interesting is, and this is going to be weird, but you used to work for the big boys. You didn't want to be a robo advisor, and you're using a virtual assistant to kind of help position you in a marketplace that's pretty saturated. There's a lot of wealth advisors out there. So talk a little bit about how exactly you've differentiated using a virtual assistant.
So yes, thank you. Our industry is super saturated. I think it's kind of like the real estate, right? There's
Yeah.
more realtors than there are properties for sale. I think there's a ton of financial advisors, right? And financial advisors encompass everything from insurance to CPAs to investment advisors. Like there's just so many of us and so many different types. And I worked for a big firm. I was just an advisor there, right? Just another number. And people kind of came to the firm because of the name, and I was just an advisor there. As my practice grew and I started to build my clientele and I was getting referrals and people knew me for me, I realized I needed to continue to brand myself and separate myself from the competition. And because of that, I needed to work on my social media presence and reputation there. And because there's only 24 hours in a day and only one of me, I can only see so many people in a day or in a year. So being able to put myself out there digitally, socially was important. And again, with 24 hours in a day and just me, just editing a video so I can post on my Instagram stories can take me like an hour for a 1 minute thing, right? So I
Right.
knew I needed to find someone that could assist me with that.
Well, and it's interesting because you're definitely a different wealth advisor on social media. Most wealth advisors are older and they're not embracing that world, right? But you're using your virtual professional also in the client experience world. What do you have them do to help your clients have a better experience working with you?
Mm. So I have kind of two different types of clients. I have like the clients that directly work with me for financial planning. And then I have, I would say, my clients that are realtors, because I work with realtors in helping them with their clients that are doing 1031 exchanges. Because one of the things I do is a Delaware statutory trust. So I kind of see it as I have two types of clients. I have the direct client that does business with me, and then I have the indirect client, which is the realtor that then we collaborate with their real estate investors. So in terms of the experience with my direct clients is website, social media, and just personalizing myself, my reputation, and my brand on social media so my clients can see who I am, what I'm up to. And it's funny, I won't see a client for a year until our annual review. And I'm like, hey, so tell me about how you're doing. And they tell me their story. And they're like, oh, Kyle, I know everything that's going on with you. I saw that, your family's growing and you're doing this. And oh, I love that cooking video you put up last week. And I'm like, oh, it's great that it's like I get to touch them and stay in contact with them without physically having to meet them all the time because of limited time and space. And then with the realtors that I work with is providing them resources that are useful in their business. Because if I can help them grow their business and work with more clients, get more listings, then ultimately or hopefully their clients will want to do a 1031 exchange and then may utilize me for a Delaware statutory trust. So kind of how I've been using MyOutDesk and my assistant in working with that clientele with the realtor is helping add more value to the realtor so they can get more business. So then they'll remember me when it's time for a 1031 exchange.
That's amazing. I mean, how positive to help your referral partners out by building content and value for their brand so that ultimately it can drive revenue for your brand. How'd you come up with that idea?
You know, I was kind of doing it before, and and so my industry, we're highly regulated, and there's certain things we can say, not say, what we can promote. And so I knew that it was very tricky to promote a specific product or tool. Yet, if I just help out the people that are in contact with the people I want to be in contact with, and I can just support them, help them grow their business, it's a win-win. And so initially, I hired a content creator and kind of would just put the realtor in contact with that person, and he was charging them to build landing pages and content and all that. And then when I hired my virtual assistant to help me with my practice and my content, and I realized, he's got extra time, and I'm already referring realtors to this other guy that's building content. I wonder if my assistant can do equal or better content creation. And then he could. His stuff is amazing. And he basically learned to do exactly what the other guy was charging $200 an hour for. And then now I just have the realtors work directly with him. There's no cost. And that's like my marketing dollars I would have spent anyways to go and find new referral partners. Now I can just add value and they tell more of their friends about me. So yeah, it's a win-win-win all the way around. And then the great thing is my assistant's working with all these people building their content. He's learning how to build stuff for them, and then he can build me better stuff, better content.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Kyle, when you first decided to work with MyOutDesk, what were some of the fears or things you had to overcome? Like, what'd you learn throughout the whole process?
Well, okay, when I first considered, actually 2012 was the first time I hired a virtual assistant.
Nice.
And it was not a very good experience.
Mm.
And so that created this fear. Fast forward to 2020, when I started looking, was, man, is this going to be a waste of time? Is it going to be a lot of money? And
Yeah.
is it worth it? Right. So as I started working with other realtors that were using virtual assistants, I found a lot of them do. And I found the content and the service was amazing. I had no idea they were working with virtual assistants. I started asking them who they were using, and MyOutDesk came up a lot.
Right.
So my initial contact with MyOutDesk and finding out that you guys only do full time and you hire the best people and you offer all the benefits, I was like, I don't think I can commit to a full-time person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big commitment. Maybe I just want a part-timer. So then I actually did research and looked at other companies that would do part-time. And what I found was when I would talk to other companies that did the part-time, a lot of their employees or staff were transient. Not a lot of them stuck around.
Yeah.
Where MyOutDesk was, you come and work for us and they offer such good benefits, they only do full-time, you're going to get the best people in the marketplace. And so prior to me committing to MyOutDesk, when people would ask, hey, Kyle, what are you learning from your research with all these companies? I said, you know what? There's all these companies that do this and that, yet I would say the premium, like the Maserati of the virtual assistant world is MyOutDesk. Like I want to get there someday, right? I think I'm gonna start with a part-time company. I want to work my way up to MyOutDesk.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just decided in 2020, you know what? I'm just gonna commit. I'm gonna go full time. I'm gonna hire the best, work with the best, and I'm glad I did.
That's awesome, man. When you think about your industry, it's not one that adopts this virtual model where we have a blended workforce where there might be advisors who are local in the market and then virtual assistants in the Philippines, like for instance, like our company, right? Most advisors haven't yet embraced this whole concept. What advice would you give to them, the folks that are nervous or worried about having a blended model?
You know, I think due to COVID-19 and us being forced to work virtually, it definitely sped up that decision for me. Yet even prior to the pandemic, I could see there was a lot of my practice that was virtual anyways. You know, when I had a full-time physical assistant, I barely saw her. And ideally, she and I shouldn't be running into each other because I should be out doing meetings and then she would be scheduling and doing paperwork and doing all this other stuff. So we shouldn't see each other. And so essentially, whether they're virtual in outer space or in another country or like right next to you in your office, it really doesn't matter because the goal is for me to be in front of clients and servicing clients and then an assistant to do everything else. So whether they're virtual in person, I think it comes down to is who's going to give you a good quality service and product and work, right? And it doesn't matter if they're local or somewhere else.
That's awesome. Okay, we're going to wrap up. What's your final thoughts? In this conversation of virtual assistants and working with MyOutDesk, what would you leave the audience with?
It was the best decision I made for my practice. You know, it did two things for me. Number one, it gave me more time once I got up and running. Yet it did take a lot of time to get up and running. Yet it was worth the investment in time to get my virtual assistant to get things done the way I want it to be done. So it was definitely a very good investment in time. And I think in any investment, it takes, you know, time or money, right, or energy. And so the time spent in the beginning, and I do spend a lot of time with him now, just making sure things are the way I want it. It was worth every moment of time to build that and every penny. And you know, I can tell it's working for me. I like it because I've probably told 5 people in the last week about MyOutDesk, and I know at least 2 of them are calling you guys this week. Um, so yes, thank you.
All right, Kyle. Well, thanks for being with us. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best place for you to send them? Like, where would they find you?
Probably the best place. Come find me on Instagram or Facebook. You know, Kyle Shimoda or Wealth Consciousness. 2 places to find me.
Perfect. We'll post those links below, guys. If you're listening and you're a wealth advisor, a financial advisor, an investment advisor, jump on our website, do a consultation. It costs you nothing. So you probably will like that. Costs you nothing to put together a plan, figure out exactly what you need, and actually get ready to hire your first virtual professional. Kyle, thanks for being here today. Really appreciate you.
Thank you very much.